Welcome back to the Akaland Slugging Association Season 2. If you missed out on the explanation of what this series is and the first few chapters, I recommend you check out the new playlist on my channel page. Whether you're a day 1 or brand new to this series though, it's good to have you here for Chapter 2 as we get into Week 2 of Season 2. Last time, we left off with the climactic Battle of the Balls, as Spectro's Spitballs triumphed over conference rival Mr. Murphy and the top-ranked Fireballs. This marked the end of the Fireballs' perfect season, but 2 undefeated Titans still reigned atop the standings. As we kick off Season 2, let's just say that state of affairs is doomed to come to an end. Even if both my Flowers and Deuce's Wilds managed to win our cross-conference games against the Eggs and Spitballs respectively, the in-conference section of the week put the two of us on a direct collision course. Of course, that's under the assumption that we both make it there unscathed. The first game of Week 2 was a clash between the second-to-best and second-to-worst teams in the league as the Flowers took on Cyber's struggling Daycare lineup. If you recall, the end of Season 1 set up a bit of a rivalry between these two franchises. The then Cyber Knights went on a late-season surge, including a controversial walk-off finish in the finale to knock the Flowers out of contention for the top seed. The Flowers exacted revenge in the play-in, where my 4th-seeded squad bounced the 5th-seeded Knights on our way to claim the Season 1 crown. There was still no love lost between our squads despite Cyber's complete rebrand. Eisenhower got his first career start in this contest, replacing Luigi at the shortstop position against the very team which traded him to the Flowers during Week 1. He turned a statement double play in the first, and a line drive to Hammerbro into the Eggs' initial offensive. Boot reached base for the Flowers, and though Daisy failed to follow suit, Eisenhower picked up the slack to set up Petey with runners on first and second.
Astonished hitter. Oh, that's gone. Easy gone.
Oh my goodness.
2 quick outs brought the Eggs back up, but even the mighty Red Critter's efforts fell short as Millennia's hit to the infield resulted in a double play. Darkbones didn't have much better luck. The Flowers stayed in control with a link base hit and a whammer pillar shot extending the lead to 5. They now firmly held momentum, and things never quite turned around for the Eggs. By the 7th inning, the Flowers had run the score up to a staggering 14-0, at which point Red Critter had to do some damage control.
I don't think GDB getting there.
Yep.
It's not a shutout.
It's a single.
It's a single home run. I mean, at least he's trying.
That would be how things ended though, and the Flowers' great showing held up their end of the undefeated duo. Now it's time for Game 2 of Week 2 of Season 2 here in Part 2, in which Deuce would look to keep his perfect campaign alive. The Spitballs were coming off of a big win against the previous number 1 team, but whether they had it in them for a second such upset, only time would tell. They certainly didn't get off to a fantastic start, ending the first inning with only 1 base hit. Donkey Kong looked to deliver the first hit of the game for the Wilds, and deliver he did.
Close to the strike zone. Oh, that one's gone.
Gangsta Mario!
You're so close.
He came streaking in. My guy was ready.
Real and Brown Critter reached 2, but Big Fella hit into a double play to end the Wilds' first inning. Firebro ripped a shot out to right field, but Teal and Tiny Kong got there in time to save the game from being tied. The latter seemed a little rattled by the catch during the next play, though.
It's like, wait, did she just...
What was that?
Okay,
Whoa.
Tiny, whoa. Tiny,
Whoa.
pull yourself together, man.
In fact, I don't really have words for the rest of this Spitballs inning either, so just take it as you will.
What?
Incredible.
Ugh. Oh, but Real misses the dive. You'd love to see him star swing here, but he's gonna charge. Waluigi, no. Wait a second.
Oh,
Oh, that's caught. That's caught.
Oh, you.
Paragoomba was an emerging star on the mound for Spectro's team, though, and the Wilds couldn't get much going either. Not until the bottom of the 3rd, that is, when a double play from Real still managed to bring 1 runner in. Paragoomba didn't seem too shaken up by it, though.
Strikeout from Paragoomba.
Oh.
Look at him popping off. He earned that.
It seemed despite their early pitching woes, the Spitballs had found their guy. The 4th inning seemed like it was finally the Spitballs' time to strike. Good hits from Firebro and My Me brought up Blitter with runners on the corners, and he delivered to put Spectro on the board. Waluigi, still reeling from the high of his previous deep charge hit, figured he'd give it another go.
Stop it! Stop!
No.
This became an odd trend for the Spitballs too. Red Paratroopa started to get aggressive in the 5th, despite not being a power hitter by any stretch of the imagination. It sort of worked out, at least until Gangsta Mario and Red Pianta came up short and failed to tie the game once more. The scoreboard moved again shortly thereafter, but not in the way the Spitballs were hoping. Donkey Kong brought in a run off a deep double to left, but the Spitballs managed to hold it there. There was some promise in the top of the 6th, as MK Leo and Firebro reached the corners. Promise, at least, until this.
Oh no! What? Huh?
Whoa, what?
What a play!
I have no clue.
DK! What was... That's the reigning MVP right there. That's my
Oh
MVP.
my goodness.
One last out to spare this inning, and Waluigi needed to turn things around.
Just star. Yes!
He did it! He did it! Whoa,
Yes!
whoa.
What a play!
And he sends fire off.
Why did I not go?
A late POW failed to save Paragoomba though, and the Wilds had one more chance to up their score before the final stand in the 7th. They didn't. Red Paratroopa led off the Desperation Surge for the Spitballs, albeit not very well. Gangsta Mario hit into a dangerous spot too, but a rare bobble from Britter kept things going. Just like their game against the Fireballs, this would come down to Red Pianta.
He knows what he has to
Thought
do.
about it.
Okay, yeah, DK is not playing around. Will they actually...
What will he do?
Oh, they still hit it. Yeah, that's gonna be the game.
Wow. And the
Wow.
start pitch from DK, that's going to close it out.
Wilds
Just a one run.
barely survive. So many chances there for the Spitballs to even up or even take the lead, but none of them came through.
Next up were the Fireballs and Bows. Mr. Murphy's squad would look to bounce back from their sobering loss in the Battle of the Balls, while My Guy's newly rebranded team took the field perhaps a bit nervous in search of a major victory. Both teams started off understandably cold. Nothing much happened until the 2nd inning. With a chance to strike first, Greybones stepped up and put this one out to left.
I believe it was Edward's left arm, though, that was injured. That's a wonderful hit down the line.
That's a great hit.
Wait, no,
He got
no.
robbed. He got robbed.
I want to see the replay on that one.
I do too, but that scores a run.
One of the funniest looking plays in Fireball's history would put a cap on Y-Guy's scoring for the time being, though. They quickly put the Magenta Maverick on base for BP, who, thanks to the star, was able to pull this off.
Not even flinching at that pitch, but
Oh!
he wants this one. Oh, it's deep. It's so deep. Will they be able
Too
to...
high!
No, it's
Too high!
The defense is turned up for the 3rd, but a rare successful Dixie slap hit 1 inning later put one runner on base for King Boo, and he didn't disappoint as he reclaimed the lead for the Bows.
It's gone! Let's go, King Boo!
With how excited Deuce got on commentary, you'd think he'd just won the lottery. The Bows struck again later in the 4th, this time off of a flenzy slap hit, bringing Edward home. Yet another King Boo RBI in the 5th gave the Bows the biggest lead of the game, and the Fireballs would need to respond quickly. Of course, when things get tough for the Toad team, you can always count on 3 consecutive slap hits to put them right back on schedule. Toadette made it 4 for a second run on the inning before the Maverick sailed a deep fly ball, but the Bows' lead was back down to a measly 1 run. The Bows almost made a statement in the 6th, but a well-timed buddy jump prevented the captain from reinstating the 3-run lead. To show her how it's done, BP walloped the ball for a second time in this game alone, tying things up on a solo shot out to right. The Bows adamantly prevented anything else though, and we were all square at 5 going into the 7th inning. This 7th inning Bows effort makes the previous indescribable section look normal, so I'll step back on narration and let live comms handle things again for a second.
You know, she's back up out there in the
double
field.
play incoming. This might as well be going straight to the Fireballs.
Don't disrespect. Don't disrespect. Oh, it is bobbled by Toadette! Runners will be on the
Over
corners!
her. It bobbled over her.
Oh, man. And King Boo!
King Boo! King Boo! I gotta keep my voice down. King Boo! King oh. Wait! Dixie just stole!
Dixie just stole second. Wow, what a play.
What? Oh, I do not blame Mario here. Ooh,
What a disaster of an at-bat. What?
What just happened?
I'm so confused.
Confused.
Oh, wait, Edward, what?
Steal it home!
Wait, it's gonna work?
Oh my god!
Jake just stole
Edward's
home
a
base.
Genius! Edward's a genius! To quote the one and only Delta Zulu, that's the King Boo Gambit. Oh, and they're scoring another. They are not content. Oh, they just got eaten. This could have been a different game if not for the Toadette bobble.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
Oh,
Wait
my
a second.
Lord. That's gone. That's deep. That's
Oh,
deep.
it
Can Mario
stays
catch-
in.
Oh, it's still
Oh, she
in.
caught it.
Oh.
The Fireballs now needed 2 runs to tie and 3 to win. The duo of Yellow Toad and Pianta, affectionately dubbed YTP, both managed to get on base, and an impressive slap from the Maverick brought the magic number down to 1, 2 for a victory. BP loaded the bases, and Mario brought in a run to tie things up. Needless to say, the Fireballs were not thinking about extras.
Against Murphy Mister.
No! That's game!
There!
Why is BP going? What?
I do not know, but that is an RBI walk-off for Mr. Murphy.
It's tragedy for the Bows.
The Fireballs managed to return to form late in this one. A heartbreaker for Bows fans, to be sure, but the Fireballs organization was quite proud of this one. The last game of this cross-conference set featured the Flame Monsters and Jake Cuevas Muscles on Nighttime Cruiser. Sitting at the bottom of the league with a miserable 0-3 and a terrible run differential, Jake truly needed this one. That hunger didn't show early on though, as they went scoreless in the first and gave up the classic 2-run combo of Ordeal and Bowser. Critter seemed asleep at the wheel too, hitting this nasty boo shot up the sloped deck and simply not going for an extra base. Didn't much matter though, since K-Rool decided to slap the ball right to BDB for one of the easiest double plays he might ever see. Kareem hardly fared better, and Flame was back on the attack. It took loaded bases with Bowser looming for Critter to finally rise to the occasion and wake up. On the defensive side at least. The offense was still stagnant though, and a well-placed Boomerang Bro line drive to the corner of the deck scored for the Monsters once more. Wario had been pitching since the early game, but in the top of the fourth he decided to show off his offense too.
Oh! This one's rocketed out, but it's right where they can catch it. But they won't. That's the second career home run for Wario.
He put something nasty on that ball. You know it.
He was truly proving to be the beating heart of this team, coming up clutch with a solo homer to put the Muscles on the board. With no more runs until the bottom of the fifth, Bowser seemed to be getting a bit bored, and so he matched Wario's homer with one of his own. This further demoralized the already groggy Muscles, who seemed to be giving up on their season despite the captain's best efforts both at the plate and on the mound. In the bottom of the sixth, they sleepwalked their way into giving up loaded bases, with Bowser looking to prove that the Monsters belonged in playoff conversations.
Star Wario, there it is.
Come on, Mario. You can't let it end like this.
Oh,
no,
oh wait, they
Wario.
should get this one.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
That's a
They're
sac
good.
fly though. BDV will score.
That's much better than giving up a grand slam, though. With Bowser out of the way, Jake's coaching staff decided it was safe to ditch outfield chemistry and brought in Kareem to close out the inning. He succeeded, but it'd take a Muscles miracle and a disaster from the Monsters for this game's outcome to change. I'm not sure what kind of motivational speech they got between innings, but the Muscles' death lineup of Wario, Critter, and King K. Rool added 3 runs to the team's score in only 3 at-bats, as the last of that list finally decided to charge in earnest.
And now you're just gonna wait for the star pitch, which is not a good idea. Wait a second, maybe it is!
Never mind.
Let me
Never
shut
mind.
up. It's a 1-run game. In the blink of an eye, the Muscles are back in the game.
Back-to-back outs from Kareem and Koopa put the Muscles in a tough spot, though, and they weren't close enough to the death lineup to feel any sense of security when the Deuce Me reached first base.
No, I believe it's Willow and then Yellow Madge. Yeah.
Maybe. He's done it before.
Or maybe Willow. You know?
Or maybe Willow can do it.
Oh, hold up.
Hey! Deuce going the distance.
Alright, a base hit will tie the game. That's all you need from Yellow Madge. A star hit would be wonderful.
Does he know how to do work?
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Oh!
Yellow Madge! There's no way!
And it's a...
Yellow Madge! The lead is 2 for the Muscles. Yellow Madge!
No one beats Jaquavius 4 games in a row.
The only thing that could make this game crazier would be if the Monsters could start a rally, and 2 quick base hits made it look possible. Captain Falcon tried to be the hero, but drilled a shot out to Koopa the Quick for the first out. BDB, reigning clutch player of the year, had a chance to take matters into his own hands, but his dangerous slap placement led to questionable base running, as Wario gunned Boomerang Bro out at second. The only thing standing between the Muscles and their first victory was Monty Mole.
Okay, the Muscles. Look at Yellow Madge there on the plate. Look at Yellow Madge, dude.
Yellow Madge is ready. Steal?
Wait, they
What are
missed.
they doing?
Oh, they almost got Madge. If
They
Yellow
move
Madge
up
got the
BDB.
out there. Wait, they're gonna get Monty. That's the game.
Foolish.
The Muscles with the greatest comeback maybe in league history. That
No,
is
that
such
nice.
an incredible game. We were like asleep for the first 6 innings. Then in the 7th,
Yellow Magic Koopa is my dad, bro.
Yellow Magic Koopa owns the entire Monsters franchise now.
Now, with all that excitement, midweek trade conversations were bound to pick up. Most of us GMs expected nothing major, but all bets are off when it comes to Spectro and Cyber. I think I pretty obviously foreshadowed this in the previous video, but Cyber decided he wanted to get back with his ex again. That is, he wanted Blitter back from Spectro. To pull this off, he shipped Red Critter back to Spectro, who just traded him away during the Season 2 draft. Cyber also packaged in Baby Peach. In return for improving his chemistry and swapping for arguably the best player in the league at the time, Spectro only really had to give up Blitter, Red Noki, and Cyber's own me. The daycare still wasn't done switching out its clientele though. Deuce brought fan favorite Baby Daisy and the Flame Me back to his squad in exchange for Baby DK, who hadn't seen the field for the Wilds. These were big adjustments for Spectro and Cyber, but they'd have to wait to try them out, because the next game up was expected to be peak cinema.
What is up, guys? We're here with probably the most important match of the entire season, as the two 4-0 teams go up against each other. I'm here with Mr. Murphy.
I hope
Let's
they
get
both
it.
lose.
A few hits landed for the Flowers, and Petey managed to bring Luigi in before giving up on the base runners. Groki, who's still just happy to be here, couldn't continue the attack, so Deuce's Wild stepped up to respond.
Get it, make it,
Get it done, you know? And sometimes he just likes to do it, just like that.
You got it done.
I repeat, Groki is just happy to be here. Britter reached base 2, and Big Fella popped a double out to the outfield to put runners on second and third. Luigi made the questionable decision of not turning the easy double play, and Funky Kong made him pay, scoring 2 runs as Link made a pitiful effort to throw Big Fella out at home. At the end of one, the Wilds already boasted a 3-run lead. Whammer was due up though, and Link ensured he'd have one base runner to work with.
We all know Whammer's the best player to ever exist. He's
Oh,
gone?
that's gone.
Are
Wait,
you gonna get there?
ew, it's gone.
1-run game. GDB tried to match that intensity, but the outfield got there. The Flowers went cold for the rest of the inning as Real and Britter ensured nobody else made it to first base. The Flowers' defense had to step up instead, but things didn't look so great at
Fall
first.
for it.
His DK is...
He
No,
has a
he's got
small
that-
brain. Oh, the ball! Whoa! What?
With 2 runners on base and 1 out, Hammerbro once again came up big, turning a double play to deny Britter the chance to do any more damage. In a battle of captain-class characters, Star Diddy Kong proved his worth by executing a good-looking star pitch strikeout on Daisy. Wiggler's slap couldn't escape Britter, and Petey's vain attempt to tie the game ended in Teal's glove off of yet another buddy jump. This set the tone through the next few innings, with power hitters on both sides failing to break through the opponent's wall of defenses. By the 6th inning, there was some panic in Flowers' camp. 2 outs with no runners on base was a dire omen. If the bats failed 4 more times, not even perfect defense could ward off the call of the loss column.
Let's go,
Yeah.
Whammer.
But Whammer could do something.
And the star pitch.
Unless he uses his reptile brain. And he uses his reptile
I
brain.
think he
And it might be a home run for it.
That's a. There we go. And the game is tied up because Whammer.
Who else could it be in such a difficult spot?
He just hit a home run off of DK's star pitch though, which is actually bonkers.
GDB came up short yet again, but all the Flowers needed to do was play some defense and try to score again if possible. It was a simple plan. One naughty— oh, come on! Real capitalized on the sudden momentum to take a 2-run lead, and the Flowers had nothing left in the tank. Even when Boo and Luigi tried to start a rally up, Daisy hit straight into Britter to give up 2 outs. Wiggler did his best Whammer impression in an effort to tie up the game, when he should have just waited for Petey, and the Wilds took it home, 6-4. Next up were the Spitballs and Eggs, and what an interesting game this was. It took a bit for things to get going, but once the Spitballs took off, this one wasn't ever close to being close. Ritter went nuclear in his first game with the Spitballs, and against the team he'd just escaped, no less. Blitter, on the other hand, played one of his less impressive games of the season, probably due to being demoralized by his new surroundings. It came down to Red Madge to supply the Eggs' only offense, while the new dynamic duo of Firebro and Red Critter both contributed big homers in a blowout victory. Next up were the Bows and Muscles, battling for the winning team's right to proclaim themselves not the worst MRC team. Birdo made a statement early with a 1-run homer, but the Muscles weren't just going to take that. Saitama and Wario both reached base for Critter, who managed to shake off the rust for one deep 2 RBI single. He'd definitely taken a step back from the MVP runner-up he was in Season 1, but he still certainly had his moments. The second inning was an absolute masterclass, as the newly dubbed Wadge, I swear we have more creative nickname schemes than this, held the Bows to no hits. The Muscles' batting order then came back around to Koopa and the Mies, who managed to combine for an additional 2 runs to hike the lead up to 3 after 2 innings. By the top of the 4th, this game was halfway through with no sign of a response from the Bows. None, that is, until one of the rarest sights in the format graced our eyes.
Hit it hard here. And she does. What? What? Oh my god.
That all but did it for the Bows, though. Wario and Critter continued their impressive game as a duo with back-to-back single-shot homers. The lead steadily grew from there as the Muscles took an 8-2 advantage. Peach cut the lead back to 5 in the bottom of the 7th, but the Muscles' lead ultimately proved to be one they'd hold on to secure their second victory of the season. One look at the logos for this next game should tell you how this one was going to turn out. It was an absolute shootout, beginning with a rare Bowser Jr. star hit on loaded bases to score 2 runs. Blue Madge pulled off a 2 RBI single to further the early lead, and the Fireballs were suddenly in need of a response. They had to wait until the bottom of the 3rd, but the response showed up in the form of Yellow Toad, who cut the lead in half with a solid slap hit. Toadette and Purple Toad both connected to score runs as well, and, dare I say it, they're fireballing again.
He is a nose. And
yeah, definitely fireballing again. It stopped at 7, a fairly humble count for what they were known to pull off. Now it was time for the defense to defend, and that's what it did. The next runs to score were not for Flame's team. No, instead, 2 more runs came off of Yellowtoad's bat as he drilled a double homer. This finally spurred the Monsters into action. The rare Captain Falcon RBI got things started for the Monsters, and before long, bases were loaded for no way. But he did pull through, scoring 2 runs and situating the Monsters firmly within striking distance. Striking distance, that is, until the Fireballs went on another massive slapping run to score 4 more runs and inflate the lead back to 6. Bowser, after showing his frustration at the mound, decided that 6 was unacceptable. He drilled a solo home run to help the Monsters a bit, but the top of the 7th brought yet another Fireball streak. The Monsters are not an offense you should ever underestimate, but 11 is just too many. They crossed the double-digit threshold themselves, but the Fireball's impressive 19 runs stood strong in the end, with BP and Yellow Toad receiving MVP honors. After Week 2, the Wilds still possessed the top seed. The Fireballs and Flowers both boasted better run differentials, but their losses to the Spitballs and Wilds respectively meant they'd have to settle for 2 and 3. No other teams were above 500. The Muscles were happy with this outcome, though. Since Magikoopa saved the season, they'd formally started to push back toward a postseason appearance. The Eggs were still a disaster, but at this point, Cyber was embracing it. Bad news, Cyber fans. This is officially a tank season. At this point, the MVP race was still fairly up for grabs. Hammerbro was out in front of the rest, while his partner in crime, Petey, sat a bit further down the totem pole. BP and Bowser were still solid candidates too. Above them, though, was Red Critter, whose continued dominance, now for a good team too, was enough to slot him in at second in the race at the halfway point. He was also the favorite for Offensive Player of the Year, while Toadette and Captain Falcon were competing for the defensive counterpart. Falcon was also looking like he was in a good position to win Me of the Year, while Birdo was firmly in the lead for pitching honors. As for least valuable player, Season 2 first overall pick Peach was leading the pack by quite a bit. With Ritter's former franchise all but self-eliminating, it seemed to the other GMs that there were only 7 teams truly in contention. Still, all 8 showed up for Week 3, kicking off the back half of the season. First things first, the Spitballs set out to defend their first ever top 4 ranking against Wide-Eye's Bows. Firebro and Paratroopa proved early why they were considered keystones in the Spitballs' defense, combining to ensure no Bows reached base in the first. Paratroopa and Paragoomba then kickstarted the Spitballs' offense, but Peach turned a surprise double play in an attempt to make her season look slightly better. With Ritter up though, the players and spectators alike knew this ball would most likely be headed for the wall.
Wow. So it feels like it's just a matter of time. Yeah, yep, there it is. They're running though, they should get there. They do.
They do have one of the fastest outfields in the game, I will say, having both Pink Yoshi and Dixie Kong on the sides as well, paired with Flenzy.
The Bows didn't get anything going themselves, though. They continued to go hitless as Ritter showed off his prowess on the defensive side, but Dixie finally managed to get one down. King Boo's charge hit then narrowly escaped Red Critter, resulting in a double, which brought Dixie sprinting around the base pass. Edward and Grey Bones drove in a couple more slap hits, and before long, the Bows were up too. Just like the first, the second inning saw the Spitballs off to a good start before an untimely double play cut them down to size. This time, it came off of Neil's bat and right into Edward's glove. That still scored 1 though, and a good defensive inning put the Spitballs right back up. In a mirror image of their first outing, the Spitballs put Paragoomba and Paratroopa on base, though having 1 out meant Gangsta's second straight double play would end their inning this time. Unfortunately, the Spitballs were doomed to continue this mediocrity for the rest of the game. Red Critter could never get anything past the outfield. Birdo homered once later in the game, pairing with Edward and Greybones' additional 2 RBI apiece for a total of 7 runs. With his total of 3 RBI, Greybones was awarded the game MVP as the Bows knocked the Spitballs back down a peg. Next up were the Flowers and Monsters. Last season, the Flowers routed Flame Squad early on, setting the tone for a season full of disappointment for the Monsters. This time, they came out swinging big. BDB made his way on base, and Monty drove in a double to put runners on second and third. Gray Guy hit into a double play, but Ordeal brought BDB home and set up the big guy.
Well, that was a pretty good offensive awakening.
Oh, and Bowser sending that to the moon. That's to the moon.
No shot. They got that, actually.
Yeah, that's about 3 miles over Groki's head.
Oh, Lord.
Daisy made a diving grab to get out of the inning, but Boo was already tired. A bad sign for the remainder of the game. The Flowers put their own runners on second and third while giving up only 1 out. Hammerbro shot 1 out to right, which landed to score 1 run as Ordeal sat asleep at the wheel. Green Drybones, usually a consistent slap hitter, decided to charge. He got terrible contact. Captain Falcon turned a double and ended the response effort at 1 run. Despite already being exhausted, Boo stuck it out for the second, and the surrounding defense rewarded him by allowing no runs to score. Wiggler and Petey got off to a poor start for the Flowers. Eisenhower and Daisy tried to step up, but Boo's exhaustion seemed to extend to the offensive side of the ball too. After he allowed 2 base hits to start the third, we knew it was time for Boo to come out. Daisy got off to a bad start herself though, as Boomerang Bro and Blue Madge combined for 3 more RBI. It finally fell to Boo and Hammerbro to turn Falcon Slap into a double play, but things looked bad and stayed bad. With no Luigi, the third pitcher wound up being Petey Piranha. At this moment, I knew that no matter how questionable Luigi's offense had been at times, the Eisenhower experiment needed to end. Petey brought in 1 more RBI and then gave that run right back to Bowser.
Oh gosh, and that's gone.
He's got
Link
that.
Link is just not
Hero
fast enough
Clown?
to get that.
Nope.
At which point, he clocked out for the rest of the game. Wiggler then came into pitch, giving up an additional 2 off of impressive coordination by the surging Monsters offense. He did do this, though.
This is
Maybe he's
their
dark.
last chance before Bowser.
Oh,
And they
Wiggler gets a strikeout.
strikeout.
Bowser homered for the 3rd time this game in the 6th, though it only mattered for differential at that point. The score was flat until Link and Hammerbro tried to make something happen in the bottom of the 7th, but Captain Falcon and the Monsters' defense wasn't having it. The Flowers were now on a 2-game skid as the Monsters reached 500 in the back half of the season for the first time in franchise history. Next up were the Eggs, taking on the improving Jake Cuevas Muscles in Bowser Jr. Playroom. This game was a must-watch for all the wrong reasons. It started with Yellow Madge scoring Saitama, and the Muscles did not slow down. Critter and K-Rool combined for another 2 runs off of the Big Croc's thunderous tank out to left center. The Eggs looked alright early on, though. Britter scored 2 off of loaded bases, and Yoshi brought his red brother across to cut the deficit to 1. With loaded bases and no outs, Blue Yoshi popped a sac fly to tie things up. At this moment, it looked like the Eggs might have a chance. Bit of a spoiler though, they didn't. A Baby Mario bobble early in the second changed the tone for the Eggs, who finally seemed to remember their GM wanted the 1st overall pick next season. Blue Yoshi also bobbled the ball to himself, giving Koopa more than enough time to use his quickness and re-establish the Muscles' lead. Yellow Madge continued his budding all-star campaign with a nasty shot to right for 2 more, and it was off to the races. Well, I guess that's not entirely true yet. Darkbones and Britter did turn a triple play off of Wario, but then it was off to the races.
Okay, don't. Okay. Chain Chomp. Oh, Baby Mario misses it, and that's gonna score 2. Can't be missing bumps like that. And we've reached the final score of the previous game in the top of the
Yes.
3rd.
The way it's looking not looking super hot, and yeah, the trap is not good.
That wasn't even a trap, it was just a terrible hit.
Yeah, that's what happens when you bring a Yoshi to a batting game.
To a batting
fight.
Bringing a Yoshi to a home run derby?
Yeah. Not even normal Yoshi can do it.
Oh, he's not charging.
Ooh, the star pitch.
The chain
Weird
chomp?
one to swing at, but
Oh,
Ooh.
oh, oh, what?
avoided it barely. Oh no.
We're gonna see the
Oh, a
5th
fifth
string. Over half the team is pitched now. Here's Darkbones.
Oh no.
Blue
Oh,
Critter.
it gets past Blue Critter, not diving again.
It's an RBI for Kareem.
Mm.
One more pitch and Saitama can walk this off with a
We,
strikeout.
we could see the 1 strikeout, man. We will not, but we will see Critter record another out.
There it is. Good for him, man.
Absolute destruction.
17-4, man. It's always Jake tearing Cyber's team apart. Oh, man.
They do not have a good history together.
The MVP's K rule.
Of course, of course.
Undoubtedly.
Don't worry, Muscles fans, it may have looked bad in part 1, but you're back on the right track. Wilds fans couldn't catch a break in this span though, playing their second straight game against a second-ranked opponent with the top spot on the line. Murphy chose to play this one in Bowser Castle, a rare choice usually reserved for slap-hitting teams looking to use the stadium size to reduce the effectiveness of a power-hitting opponent. Quite a good choice here then. Things looked to be working at first, as Star Diddy Kong and DK were both unable to sneak a hit past the Fireball's defense. Real briefly fought back with a double, but Britter was unable to make anything out of it with the stadium's deep walls. The Fireballs fared even worse though, starting the game with a quick 3 outs on only 3 pitches. The Wild's Mies continued the trend of being the only capable offensive players in this game, as Hugh reached and Funky's shot was buddy jumped. Tiny Kong finally broke the streak, but if you ask me, her stats are close enough to be considered me adjacent. Teal came through too, and all of a sudden, the bases were loaded.
Oh no, Diddy, what are you doing?
That is not a grand slam.
Bad.
The Fireballs showed some improvement in the second. Instead of 3 pitches, it took Diddy Kong a whopping 4 to send them packing once again. This was truly shaping up to be an all-time defensive battle for the top rank. With Donkey Kong and Real reaching base, the Wilds were finally beginning to look like themselves again. Brown Critter failed to learn from his previous mistake and swung for the fences once more, but managed to at least force a buddy jump this time. Big Fella was next up though, and he had a job to do.
But they also haven't had a single home run, so I guess it's not too bad.
Oh, right over. Okay.
Base is loaded.
Bases
Nope,
rotated.
DK says it's my time to shine, and so does Real. They got that.
Real does not make that.
Nope, Real does not got that.
Keep in mind that at this point, the Wilds Mies are all perfect on the game, as well as being responsible for the only run scored. That first bit changed with Hugh Mann's next at-bat, but the Mii Core was still setting the pace the Fireballs would have to match. The Fireballs have only one Mii, Mr. Murphy, their own GM's counterpart and their designated catcher for all of team history. If they were to match the Wilds, it seemed they might need to turn to him.
Oh. Who's the godmother?
What?
I said, who's the godmother?
Red Toad failed to capitalize on that all-time great commentary, but the surprisingly reliable Toadsworth batted in the tying run. The inning ended there, but they had answered the call. Hey, check out this awesome Chem Bobble.
Oh, but it's bobbled.
And while we're talking about highlights from this inning, check out this ball placement.
Ooh, Diddy Kong with some. Ooh, wow.
Oh, no, and it's foul. Whoa!
That sequence of events could have had severe implications if not for the Fireball's infield chemistry landing the ball right in BP's glove or DK's disappointing follow-up. Because both happened though, the game was still tied. After a casual Yellow Toad double and a solid Toadette hit, the Magenta Maverick realized things were going too well for their team and hit into a double play. That left it up for the MVP candidate Blue Pianta to seize the lead before the inning ended, and that he did.
There is now a lead for the Fireballs.
And just leave it to the Wild's Mies to respond. Funky, unlike Britter, had learned that slap hits might be more effective here, landing one to tie the game back up with a chance for more. A late pow wasn't enough to save a pop fly by Tiny though, and the defensive slugfest continued. If you're a Fireballs fan, or if you pay attention, you know what tends to happen when Mr. Murphy's lineup has been quiet for a few innings. This time, it started with Murphy's Mii himself, after which Red Toad got on base, and Toadsworth continued his streak of bringing in runs. YP loaded the bases, and Yellow Toad made it a 2-run lead with 0 outs. Toadette barely got a hit past Britter for 2 more, then the Maverick and BP made it a 6-run inning before the fireballing finally sputtered out. The once defensive battle was now a dangerously large Fireballs lead, and the Wilds only had 2 more innings to bring it back. Britter and Big Fella each bringing in 1 run in the 6th made matters better, but even a silent Fireballs inning would mean the magic number to stay alive would be 4. Sadly for Deuce, they didn't get that far, giving 3 runs right back up and facing their biggest deficit of the season with only 1 inning to fix it. Diddy Kong managed 1 score on an impressive triple, but the league's final undefeated squadron crumbled under the weight of their reigning MVP's glove as the Fireballs reclaimed the top rank. There were no trades or even rumors thereof during the midweek intermission, so take a look at these standings and let's hop right into the bottom half of Week 3, the set of 4 in-conference games right before the All-Star break. All of these games are rematches of earlier conference games, so each team would go into the break with one season series already decided. First up were the newly reinstated #1 ranked Fireballs taking on the still winless Cyber Eggs. I'm sure you all know where this one is going. I mean, look at this nasty BDK bobble in the outfield. It didn't really do anything, but you know, it's fun to make fun of the overwhelming underdog for looking the part. When it stops being fun though, and when I should really implore you to reconsider if you've been taking everything I say at face value, is when we reach the bottom of the second inning in a still scoreless game and see the Eggs working with loaded bases and only one out.
The bat of Nicola. Ooh, the star hit! It's going to be bobbled off of YP's glove, and it's going to score
pow.
too. Without the star hit.
Off the lead.
Without the star hit, YP catches that, and it's a double play.
Dark Bones restocked the bases, and Baby Mario brought in one more to extend the Eggs' lead to an unexpected 3 runs. They still weren't done either, as their starting pitcher, Red Yoshi, capitalized even further. Blue Critter popped a sac fly out to Toadette, and don't look now, but Cyber is up 5 runs.
Imagine.
No, that's going to end the inning.
The Fireballs started with Red Toad on base, but Yoshi and Baby Mario made fantastic plays to gun out Toadsworth and YP respectively. Yellow Toad scored 1, but starred Toadette couldn't keep the inning going, and the response was only 1 run. Red Yoshi continued the attack for the Eggs, charging this time too.
Charging? This one's crushed! Red Yoshi!
Is that out? Radio.
No, they should have this. Yeah, they do.
Despite his failure, Blitter shared the sentiment.
I'm sorry, Mark. Fast.
Oh, this one's down.
Ooh.
The
That's
left.
out. Wait, no, they catch that.
They do.
Between those 2 Toadette buddy jumps and an athletic BP dive, the Fireballs did manage to get out of that inning without giving up any additional runs. What they couldn't seem to do was get past Yoshi in the infield. The 5th wound up being silent on both sides, but that didn't really help the Fireballs at all. What did help was Toadette's speed to avoid a double play, allowing BP to score her with the help of a Mario shell attack on his younger self. A Blitter dive ended the inning though, and the Eggs had one more chance to extend their lead. Dark Bones and Baby Mario both failed to get on base, so Red Yoshi got aggressive again with 2 outs.
And have Blue Critter start off the 7th. Oh, that's gone.
Ooh,
Wait, is that foul?
No, is that go foul?
It is foul, barely to the left of the pillar.
He still reached base, but a Blitter pop fly meant the Fireballs only needed 3 to survive. For some teams, that's a lot, but let's be honest, this offense is more than capable.
Now you need Toadsworth to have a good at-bat this time. Oh, no. Wait, the Roots could get in the way. They may jump. No.
How too?
They catch Red Toad on a flyout. Why would he charge there? That's such a weird decision.
Alright.
That! Oh, whoa! They're going to jump for this one. Yeah. 2 outs now. You need a 2-out rally if you're the Fireballs. Why is he charging? Why are they all charging?
Why?
Everyone wants to be the hero.
Point.
They forgot their game. Ooh, it's over Yoshi's head.
Okay.
That could have been the game there if Yoshi had jumped. That's down. Okay, you need Toadette to come through now.
Okay. If Toadette can just drop a quick home run.
But if you could get through Toadette...
That's what I'm saying.
No!
No!
The POW, but that's game. They're gonna get Yellow Toad.
That's it.
And the Eggs upset the #1 team in the league by 3 runs. 2-5, they get it done. That's their first win of the season. They improve to 1-6. Fireballs fall to 5-2. The MVP, Millennia. No doubt for laying down that 2 RBI shot there. Yeah, Toadette did what she could. BP did what he could, but that's gonna be it from us.
As I said in the last video, the only certainty in the ASA is uncertainty, and there are no better examples of that than this stunner of an upset. Cyber's team improved to 1-6 going into the All-Star break behind a full 7-inning Red Yoshi masterclass on the mound, now looking to go on a similar streak to what Y-Guys Monarchs did in Season 1. The Fireballs, though, would have some serious regrouping to do after splitting their season series with the Eggs. Continuing this bunch of rematches, we advance to the second installment of the Season 1 finals between the struggling Flowers and the surging Muscles. My team got the better of Jake's earlier in the season, but they'd stormed back on a 3-run win streak? What? On a 3-game win streak to cure their 0-3 start. This game nearly started equally hot for the Muscles, as Willow tanked a shot out to left center which Link barely managed to snag, and a still struggling Critter mimicked just enough of his Season 1 power to bring in a run on a sac fly. Link then jumped for a K-Rool bomb to close out the inning with 1 run scored. Boo placed the ball right above Saitama's head for a stellar jumping grab, but the Flowers' next 3 batters all got on and loaded the bases for Petey with only 1 out.
Now we got Peter.
Mainstays, if you will. Oh, and that is just an
wow.
ugly hit from Peter to end it.
Ooh.
A horrendous showing for the Piranha, and a good example of why the Flowers had been struggling. The Muscles then went 3 up and 3 out, but they still maintained that advantage. Despite the underwhelming PD performance though, the Flowers' most productive string of batters still had yet to chime in. Groki suffered a sadly expected fate, but Link, Whammer, and GDB quickly loaded the bases once more. This time, Boo knew we couldn't leave empty-handed.
To just get a chance,
He's
he
not
will
gonna
not.
start.
Oh,
He's
but he
gonna start
star hit.
Gets over Willow. It's going.
Even what is Link doing?
Link.
Oh my goodness, they're gonna score. They're just gonna score 2.
All of a sudden, the Flowers were on top, so even Critter ending the inning off of a rather pitiful Luigi slap didn't hurt too much. This one spiraled into one of those games where both teams stink it up, both stranding numerous runners on base over the course of the next few innings as the scoreboard operator probably began to doze off. The Muscles fumbled loaded bases in the top of the 5th, and the Flowers looked like they may be about to do the same in the bottom.
Oh, and he
Wow.
misses the star.
He misses the star hit. I have never seen that.
Oh, but he's going for the charge. It's not gonna go out, but it definitely
That's
would score
good
at
enough.
least 2.
That is absolutely good enough. If you're the Flowers, you absolutely take those. 2 more runs.
It looked to be smooth sailing from there. PD was back on his feet, and with him the rest of the team. The defense snuffed out the Muscles' danger zone lineup of Wario, Critter, and K-Rool without too much effort, and before long the 7th inning rolled around. All the Flowers had to do was hang on to a 3-run lead. But the Muscles refused to go away. Their Mii-Core was making a case for best in the league alongside the Wilds, with Kareem and Saitama starting the rally. Yellow Mage came up big yet again, and Willow just had to avoid a double play to get back to the danger zone.
He's right now and at least score Kareem.
Uh-oh. That's not it.
Oh no, that's not. Oh, what? Yeah. Oh, and they get it. They scored a run.
Just like the game against the Knights last season, the Flowers were staring down the barrel of a worst-case scenario in the playroom.
Scary part of their lineup now.
Uh-oh.
Oh!
Oh,
no.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
They don't fall for it, no one gets them, but it's a tie ball game.
It's a tie game.
That POW stripped certain victory from the Flowers and breathed life back into the Muscles. If Boo hadn't thrown the ball and had floated over instead, the game was over.
And they still have Critter and Kareem with only 1 out.
If this happens, I will personally murder the GM of the eggs. Sorry, the Muscles myself. I might do the eggs as well.
Oh lordy. Oh, it's okay. It's still
The
gonna be caught.
POW,
Oh no, but Willow's going home. Willow's going home.
though. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
The Muscles have a lead. The
My
Flowers
teeth-
need
My
to
teeth are
hold.
shuddering. My boots are quivering. And K-Rool is out.
Absolutely.
Now it was time for my offense to take a stand behind the duo of Wiggler and PD leading things off.
Just to stay alive. Ooh, and that doesn't help.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
You are needing a PD Piranha home run right now. And you gotta hope that K-Rool does not keep throwing these heaters. Oh! Is that getting there?
Uh-oh.
Oh,
No.
barely out. You need Peter to charge. You need Peter to charge. That's not charging, but at least he gets past Willow. You need anything but a gnocchi double right now. And oh no!
One of the more heartbreaking losses in league history sent the Flowers into the All-Star break now on a 3-game losing streak, tying their record with the flourishing Muscles on their 4-game win streak. I was so frustrated that I forgot to show the box scores at the end of the game. Still, there were 2 more before the break. Next up, let's head to Nighttime Mario Stadium for the Monsters and Spitballs. Hello and welcome to this game where the Flame Monsters will be taking on the Spectro Spitballs. Both of these teams have been heating up as of late, but only one way to see which team will continue to succeed. It will be one of these two. I'm zoning out. Y-Guy's also here. Hi, Y-Guy.
Yo, what's up, guys?
The first inning seemed to be for warm-ups, with both teams going 3 up, 3 out. Staying true to his name, though, Firebro came out sizzling in the second, scoring a 2-run homer out over the middle for an early lead. Neil almost made it 2 in a row, too, but he came up just shy. An effortless grab from the impressive rookie infielder in blue, and a huge buddy jump by Grey Guy and Ordeal stopped the bleeding there. Paragoomba and the Spitballs kept the Monsters away from first base for another full inning, so Flame's team would have to face their hit total being lower than their opponent's run total. They managed that about as well as they could in the top of the third, keeping the Spitballs hitless too. Strangely enough, defensive specialist Captain Falcon became the first to reach base for the Monsters in the bottom of the inning. That ultimately didn't mean much though, as Boomerang Bro slapped directly to his red brother for an easy double play. The Spitballs started to push their advantage in the fourth, with both RP and MK Leo reaching base with no outs. That brought up the man of the hour, who hit the most ambiguous line drive I've ever seen.
Ooh, this
That's
one's
solid.
gonna wait, that's over!
Yeah, right over, dude. That's cool. Dude,
That is a
solid.
perfect missile from Fire Bro. That's the first time we've ever seen that happen.
The biggest difference between the two Firebro homers wasn't the number of runs they scored, but what happened after them. Earlier in the second, the offense sputtered out. Here, though, Waluigi managed to get on base, and Bowser Jr. did not grant Starred Ritter the proper respect.
Junior?
Change up, not what you want
Oscar
to.
lob,
Yeah, not
and
what
that
you want to
gives him
throw
the
him.
opportunity, and Monty is nowhere.
Yeah.
I think it was Ordeal who was running for it, but still.
If this format allowed for it, the Monsters probably would have just pulled all their starters early in this one. Things just weren't going to plan, and they were still scoreless against Paragoomba by the time Ritter went for his second homer of the night.
Oh, this
I think that's
crushed
a
up the
Bowser
middle.
thing.
They're not getting there. That's a home run from Red Critter. He has 2 on the
Red
night.
Critter is definitely afraid of Bowser, but that doesn't matter when he's Red Critter.
The score was still 9-0 by the bottom of the seventh. Bowser Jr. ripped a star hit to try and mess with the outfield, but
With the Nanners, Bowser may go for home. Oh, wow, because he's Paratrooper. He can
Oh.
fly.
Yeah.
It's a shutout from the Spitballs. 9-0. Paragoomba pitches a shutout.
Not something you'd think from teams of this caliber.
Yeah, Fire Bro's the MVP. Unequivocally. Undoubtedly.
our last game before the All-Star break was the second game between the Wilds and Bows. Their Week 2 meeting is sadly lost media, but we do have the film for this one. Though if I had to pick one of their matchups to save and one to corrupt, this would be the one that I would have tossed out. Nothing much happened until the bottom of the second, when a Boo and a root shot messed with Dixie enough to let Funky sneak home. Diddy Kong scored another to give the Wilds the lead, and it wasn't one they planned on giving up. Things went quiet again. Both starting pitchers coasted until the fourth inning, when DK decided he'd like a bit more of a cushion.
Give him a chance, and he will take it. That one's gonna be gone. They're there, but it's so high up in the air, yeah. Over Dixie's head, 3 runs. Will score, Donkey Kong.
Diddy Kong wound up taking inspiration from Red Yoshi and Paragoomba, pitching a full game and a 6-0 shutout victory to take his team into the All-Star break. If you remember, this line between Week 3 and the All-Star game marks the trade deadline. Last season, it was an eventful one, seeing 2 blockbuster trades involving names like Fire Bro, Boomerang Bro, Red Pianta, and Blue Critter. While Paragoomba's breakout season is fresh on our minds, I'll also point out that the Boomerang for Blitter trade during that deadline is also what moved Paragoomba to Spectro's roster to begin with. This season, there was absolutely nothing. The only GM fully unsatisfied with the season was Y-Guy, who found himself struggling in a conference with 3 of the top 4 teams in the league. All 4 of those top teams, by the way, wound up being the exact same as in Season 1. The Wilds, Fireballs, Flowers, and Muscles were starting to establish themselves as the big 4 of the league, but Spectro and Flame were hot on our tails. Don't worry about Cyber, he's fine. That takes us into All-Star selections, which were a bit more contentious than in Season 1. There weren't any snubs as brutal as Baby Daisy getting in over Petey, but there were a lot more things to be impressed with the introduction of the star. Deuce and I agreed on a list of 18 reasonable nominees for each conference, and we opened the ballots. Last season I listed the All-Stars by their source team, but I think I want to go by conference and vote total this time around. Everyone in the ASA Discord server was invited to cast a ballot, though the server was very, very small at the time. Each GM's vote was counted double to make sure the most educated voters were prioritized, but only 4 non-GMs voted anyways. Shoutout to AJ, DZ, Wisp, and Dan. Let's start with Team MRC, featuring nominees from the Wilds, Flowers, Muscles, and Bows. Leading the charge with a whopping 20 votes was Petey Piranha of the Flowers. 20 meant a unanimous selection, which was almost certainly inspired by his snub from a Season 1 selection. Tied for second place were DK and Hammerbro, each with 17 votes. This should come as no surprise, with both now being firmly in the MVP race and the latter still being the favorite to take the award. Since he was the highest voted captain, DK would take the helm as MRC captain. Fourth place was a 3-way tie between Birdo, King K. Rool, and King Boo. Birdo and KB got the nod for dragging the Bows to 2 wins before the break, both of which would have been nigh impossible without their contributions. The Croc wasn't a surprise by any means, seeing as he'd been the Muscles' best player this season, and they were on a 4-game win streak. Of course, that streak was partially owed to the Week 2 heroics of Yellow Magic Koopa, who found himself in a tie for 7th in the conference at 10 votes. He tied with Diddy Kong, who'd been a hot and cold offensive presence but a dominant starting pitcher for the top-ranked Wilds. Speaking of the Wilds, the 9th place vote-getter was Brown Critter, who had a surprisingly small amount of support for his production. Notable absences from this team include Critter, last season's MVP runner-up, and Funky Kong. Now for Team BFC, representing the Fireballs, Monsters, Spitballs, and Eggs, maybe. Their top vote-getter was also their captain. At 18 votes, Bowser was set to reprise his role as the BFC's leader in the All-Star break, his dominance overpowering the fact that he was still not on a top 4 team in the league. The next spot is an interesting one, but not undeserved. Season 1 Fan Favorite Award winner Wodsworth would represent the Fireballs in his second All-Star selection, receiving 15 votes for his defensive abilities and surprising offensive contributions on the second-ranked team in the league. His teammate Blue Pianta somehow finished 1 vote lower at 14 despite being almost unanimously the best player on the Fireballs. I doubt Murphy was complaining though. 4th place was the first tie in this conference, seeing the Monsters Bowser Jr. and Boomerang Bro both getting nods. They were undoubtedly the Monsters' best players other than the captain, so this was not much of a surprise. Toadette and Firebro tied for 6th with 11 votes apiece, the former for her defensive prowess in center field and the latter for his everything. The Spitballs sent 1 more to the contest in Red Critter, who finished astonishingly low in the voting for being an MVP candidate and recording more home runs than games played. Tied with him for 8th in the conference was the Monsters' rookie Captain Falcon, the only me to get a nod. Notable snubs for this team include the likes of Blue Drybones and Red Pianta. When it comes to the actual game, I think the standings should give you a good idea of how things went. This isn't me trying to trick you like with the eggs earlier. Speaking of Cyber's team, they sent 0 players to the game, but the BFC still couldn't match up to the firepower the MRC brought. The game, like last season, was a glorified home run derby. While I'm typing these sentences into the script, and now while I'm speaking them too, I'm kind of ad-libbing this at this point, I'm already picturing the brief home run montage I'll be playing in the background. DK and King K. Rool won joint MVP honors in the MRC's 21-14 victory, so I'll just go ahead and play the clip again. Is anyone surprised? MRC's sweet baby, woo! Since our official record books only show 1 All-Star MVP though, the GMs agreed to give King K. Rool the official nod. With the festivities behind us, the final 3-game stretch of the season lay ahead. Do you think it's too soon to pronounce the eggs out of it? Can anyone catch the Wilds? Who will make it out of the middle of the pack and secure sundown spots? We'll pick up next time with the long-awaited rematch of the Battle of the Balls. Let me assure you though, the next time you see a video from this channel, all questions will be answered and the throne will be claimed.